Hey guys, welcome back, beautiful people. Thanks for tuning in again. Happy Friday. Hope you all had a good week. It's Friday the 12th. Gonna do a little more sanding and polishing on this thing. I've ground it down some more, you know, kind of getting to where it is what it is, ain't what it used to be. So, I'm gonna put this up here. Oh yeah. So, I already hit it with this. It's some 80. I think this is 80, right? And it's just, I do a lot of the stuff by hand. I'll scuff it up a little more. It's the boring part, but the necessary part, you know. Hope you guys had a good week. Hope you're all right in the thick of it. Capricorn season. Yeah. And the 111 portal. This is a 120. Hit it just as an example a little bit, you know. Yeah, the 111 portal. Right now, in the shadow period of something that's approaching, that's just huge, just major, man. I've been watching this thing for like years now. At least what, like 4 or 5 years? This time, like basically the 19th through the 21st, is very auspicious because what's about to happen is the sun is about to catch up with Pluto. And here we are in Capricorn, right? Well, Saturn rules over Capricorn, and in the tarot deck, Capricorn, you know, no offense to Capricorn people at all. Capricorn is represented by the devil himself. Some 600, hit it with that. And what do we have at that degree of Capricorn for quite some time now? We've had Pluto, the Lord of the underworld, Hades himself, hanging out there at that critical degree of Capricorn. Basically, I mean, that's a portal within itself. I mean, that's like the gates of hell itself, right? So what's about to happen for this transit, which is like, wow, you know, this isn't just, by the way, this isn't just like a once in a lifetime thing, like once in a lifetime transit. No, this is like once in several lifetimes. And anyway, what's about to happen is the sun's about to conjunct with Pluto at the critical degree of fucking Capricorn, right? And I mean, that's like the gates of hell. And the sun, Father Sun, is going to come along and shine its light on the gates of hell. And as the gates of hell crack open and the motherfucking demons and all these shit flying out, there's St. Michael and an army of angels sitting there waiting for them. You know, Gabriel is over there blowing the horn, you know, and waiting for them to come out and do battle. And the forces of light will be victorious. Yeah, so I've been watching them for a while because this affects me personally in my chart. I'm a Sun Pluto person, and in cardinal signs too. You know, Capricorn is cardinal, Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn are the cardinal signs. You know, and it just so happens my rising is at 29 degrees of Libra, so it is exactly square to Pluto. It's been doing that. And then not only that, you know, my natal sun and my natal Pluto are also both in cardinal signs. And so I've been doing the square dance with the devil, like, for quite some time, you know, and I not that I wanted to, but I was aware that I, you know, and man, don't do a dance with the devil because he's always going to change the tune, you know, if you have to, man. You better have some fucking, you better have some angels on your side, you know. So I'm like, woohoo, here we go, you know, here we go. Yeah, it's ominous, but holy shit, man. Yeah, so this is like major deal, yo, because at the same time that Saturn is in Pisces, having a little conversation with Neptune, and so anyway, how this, you know, relates is pretty trippy, actually, you know. So Pluto in astrology, because Pluto's not a planet anymore in astronomy, but in astrology it is. Pluto takes 248 years to orbit the sun one time. That's one Pluto year, right? So the last time Pluto it was where it is now, basically, and going to be coming up here pretty quick, was when the United States was born. 1776, baby. So the United States is having its Pluto return. And Pluto is like the great transformer. I mean, Pluto is the phoenix rising from the ashes, too. Pluto's like, will transform your life or, hey, Milo, the situation in the same way that a fucking hurricane will transform a landscape or, you know, an earthquake or whatever, you know. Pluto demands deep transformation, right? So the United States, you know, I don't know exactly what it means. It's just fascinating how astrology relates to world events and stuff, you know. And you could go back even further, even though like the outer planets were only discovered really relatively quite recently, you know. There's a lot of, you know, astrologers, they extrapolate and they go way back. And yeah, fascinating. And so the other thing that's happening too is that with Saturn and Russia in particular is pretty fascinating. So the last time that Saturn was where it's going to be pretty quick here coming up, I think really, I mean, it's going to perfect in like 2025, 2026, but we're already, you know, it's already approaching. So the last time that Saturn was in, I believe, in Aries, it's got to go all the way through Pisces and then do all that. So it's coming up. For Russia, and Russian history was where it's going to, you know, be exactly, was 1917, the Bolshevik Revolution, when the USSR was born, basically. I mean, wow, you know. And then Stalin actually died kind of unexpectedly, really, during another Saturn Neptune conjunction in a different sign. Yeah, so there's yeah, trippy, you know. I guess I watch a lot of astrology and read a lot of stuff, but don't claim to know a whole lot about it. But yeah, it's just fascinating. Yeah. So yeah, anyway, I'm excited for it. I really am. Yeah. So I do a lot of this by hand, you know, polishing it down, get all these nooks and crannies and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Still kind of a turd. I don't know. No, it's pretty. It's getting there. You know, I believe this thing is some sort of melange now, and I think it's actually possibly agate. I don't know. Still don't know. It's pretty though. I mean, you know, kind of cool for, you know, chunking it out like that and working it down. Kind of a raw stone kind of thing. Yeah. So that's that part. Yeah. And, you know, a little note on like how I was originally inspired to like do this sort of thing was back when I was a teenager, was digging around. I was gardening with my mom actually, and we found something. It was an artifact, and it was basically made out of this. It's made out of serpentine mica schist, and it was a fishing weight. You know, what I was told anyway, it's a fishing weight. Kind of football shaped, you know, but it's a magical fishing weight. And what I've learned about it since then. So anyway, what that inspired me to do was, you know, I fish. You know, I go out there, fish in the ocean, off the rocks, off my kayak, off boats. And so what it inspired me to do was, you know, because I hate throwing lead in the ocean or spark plugs or whatever. It's like sacrilegious, right? So what it inspired me to do was every time I went out to the rocks to go fishing, I would pick up stones from where I was fishing, and it's a lot of sandstone out there. It's technically it's gray wacky sandstone. It's anywhere from, well, probably about 25 to 15 to possibly 5 to 2.5 million years ago. Interesting fact, that was when Megalodon was swimming around. Oh yeah. So anyway, I would take them home and then drill, you know, destroy masonry bits and shit like that, and then, you know, put them on a string and go out there and, you know, fish out the rocks or whatever. And, you know, so I did that for a little bit there. And a couple times I was really, it was like magic. I was like really successful with it. I would take these stones and then go back out there fishing. And like one time in particular, I remember I did that. And I had that same stone fishing weight that came from right there, right? Then I took back that same one and that same hook, like for a good chunk of the day. I mean, you lose a lot of gear fishing on the rocks, right? But man, I caught on this thing on that same rig, right? I'm like, dang, there must be something to this, right? And I remember because I caught a ling cod, like a pretty nice ling off the rocks, and I'm reeling the thing up, and this fishing weight I made, it was like, I don't know, almost this size, maybe a little more like round, and a little, but it had some heft to it, right? And I'm pulling up this ling cod, like, whoa, what is it, right? I'm yanking it up, I'm pulling it up, reeling it in, and here's like that fishing weight, like beating the thing on the head. I'm like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, fish tacos, Yeah, and I think eventually I lost it, maybe a few casts after that, but yeah, so that inspired me. That artifact that my mom and I found. I mean, it's still here. It belongs here. It's not like we were looking for it or nothing. There's just so much stuff in the earth here. So and it's like, whoa, what the hell? I mean, I remember like, is there a hole in that? And it goes through the other side, and it's tapered. Like, whoa, And since then, I learned what it was, and I learned more about it too, because the ancient people here, they didn't just use those for fishing. They, people's all this stuff from back in the day, man. People's hopes, dreams, and fears made these things. It was they're magic. It's magic. Magic made those. It's a magic thing, what to do. Help bring home the bacon, right? Keep you safe. and so anyway, what I learned was that even those fishing weights, they were like charm stones, and sometimes they would use them in hunting too. They would use them. They would hang them on a thong, on a string, like over the game trail, like from they would for deer or like elk or antelope. There used to be hella antelope here up until like really relatively not that long ago. There were antelope everywhere. Pronghorn, they were super swift. Ice Age survivors, right? And so they would make these like snares and like different. They would like study the herd's movements and stuff and their habits, and then they would like make these brush mazes, and they would kind of force them to flee. They would flush them out, and force them to kind of flee into a narrow place, into a trap. And so they had to go that way. And then so they would hang this stone, fishing weight charm stone, over or kind of adjacent to the trail, and they would imbue this stone with certain qualities, right? And they would ask the stone to ask the animal to come there, like a magnet, basically, So yeah, I experienced that in a way, doing that, like, whoa, made me a true believer. One of many things. Yeah, so I do a lot of this by hand, and polish it down like that. It's pretty tedious, kind of boring. Yeah. But, yeah, it's this whole another universe. So there's that part, and here's the other part of it, real quick. It's kind of important. There, you got this string cut here. So we're gonna string it up. All right. So it's just fishing line, just braided nylon fishing line. I believe it's like 100-pound test. Oh crap. But I believe this is 100-pound test. I should get the same brand. It's like a nice brand for doing this stuff. I use it to tie my own leaders and stuff for rockfish. Fishing off my kayak or fishing off the rocks, because you want it to be strong. And this stuff is really strong. So this will not break. Something else will, but this won't. So like you gotta yank them up off the bottom, and if you don't, they hunker down and all that. And yeah. So I started doing that, and just I just buy blank hooks with no monofilament on it or nothing. I just tie my own leaders, Yep. And that's for rockfish. That's not for other things, it's not barbless hooks. So it's just an overhand knot. It's just a loop. I could probably cut that, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to fucking burn it. Oh, yeah. Just nylon. So, and burn it one more time. Just kind of make it, kind of melts it into it so it won't come undone. But also, so you don't have those whiskers sticking out. Kind of flatten it out so it's not so pokey. Whoever wears this thing eventually, if they do, or whatever, we'll see. It's kind of chunky or whatever, but It was made during this astrological period, and you know, hard work, all that stuff. But also, believe it or not, you know, going through all that kind of dark time and coming back out into the light. You know, remember to be lighthearted. You know, kind of, you know, shrug off the darkness. And yeah, hard work too. You know, that hard work pays off. You know. Yeah, so it's kind of pear-shaped. You know, it turned out to be like a, it's like a little earth fruit or something, you know. But I like it. I think it's pretty, you know. A little primitive, you know. I might sand it down a little more. I don't know. But it's kind of, you know, show you guys what I do here. And so it's just through. I can poke this thing through there. Oops, all crossed up there. Still getting over this cold thing or whatever I had. Excuse my sniffles. Up in there. Yeah, and then you just, you know, back on itself. I think they call that, like, I've heard it called like a lark's head or a kiter's knot. So you got that much more, you know, on there. And then it's just I just do an overhand, another overhand knot like this. So I kind of cinch it down. Pull that through. And then, oh shit, make sure that's tight. And then I just kind of work it down like that. Try not to get them too crossed up or uneven, inevitably, you know. Try to get that down as close as possible and cinch it up like that. I mean, it could still, you know, work out or whatever, work itself loose. Like if I was actually using this for like a fishing weight or something, you know, what I would do is, you know, other than the nylon, you know, it's all natural, what I try to do, you know, and so I might even do this to this. I'd take a little pine tar mixture. It's basically pine pitch, a little bit of clay, earth, you know, dirt, and ash. And it is a mixture together, and it makes this really good adhesive, really good glue, waterproof glue. It'll stay on there, and it'll even hold up to salt water, actually. So there you go. There's that, you know. Yeah, so thank you. Aho mantakyo yasin to all my relatives, to all creatures, all great and small, all who walked before, and thank you, ancient ones who inspired me to do this. Yeah, it's just gorgeous. And so here's little like other pieces, little abalone shell pieces. Here's another thing I did, kind of chamfered it out, right? Another thing that was gonna be like that, and it ended up being this, you know, like a shaper. Like you could shape things like that with it, you know. And then here's a failed attempt. Look at that. That's granite, you know. I think, what was I trying to do? I was trying to either make a heart or a ring out of it. I think I was trying to make myself a ring out of hornblende granite. And you can see one wrong move, bink. And then here's a moon snail. I think this might be the next videos. Here's another failed attempt. Like what I was saying about polishing and doing all that and then drilling it, if you're gonna fuck up. See, there's one of my fuck ups. I polished that all down and made it all. These are so cool to work on because it's just, I mean, it's just the natural beauty of this thing. Most of the time they're all crusty, you know, when you find them. Most of the time they're not whole too. They're not the whole shell, but when you find those whole ones, it's like, wow, you know. I've noticed there's like a left-hand version and a right-hand version. I don't know, it's strange. Anyway, and you could do all that and then flip it over and try to drill that, and then like one wrong move, and you're like, oh man. But anyway, what I want to do with this thing is I want to add some beads, some shell beads to this. So what I want to do is I want to do some little moon snails, and they kind of hang like this, like one there, and then like another one on the other side. Maybe the spiral goes the other way, you know, sometimes they do. But yeah, mother of pearl on there. And then like maybe some round abalone shell beads, maybe some like kind of triangular, like denticulate ones, you know, like a few rows, you know, so that whoever receives this thing, you know, they got some shell bling on there, you know, they got all that. I think it'll look dope. Yeah, totally. So anyway, thanks for tuning in again, and that's pretty much pretty much finished, you know? That's pretty much done. Refine it a little more, but yeah, there's my freaking caveman jewelry. Anyway, Aho Matakyo Yasin, thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Aho, if anyone isn't aware with what that means and where it comes from, I'll explain real quick. Aho Matakyo Yasin. Yes, I acknowledge you to all my relatives in Lakota. And what it means is to all my relations, all my relatives, it means the stone people, the water, everything you think is artificial, all the plants and animals, all who walked before and all who will walk in the future here on this great Maka, Mother Earth, Turtle Island. And so a shout out to all of Indigenous America, Native America, both Americas and the whole world, you know, and all of our ancient ancestors that were, every single one of them was an indigenous person from somewhere, right? Yeah. And shout out to them. I've really benefited so much from their teachings and knowledge and wisdom and love and acceptance. Thank you. Yakui Dante. All right, you guys. Hope you guys have an awesome weekend, and we'll catch you on the flip.